Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangelosi, and that's a new tip tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. Um, this time we'll see how to work on a metal shader to replicate and to simulate the aging effects. So let's prepare a really simple and fast scene. Let's do it 100 centimeters, 100 centimeters. And let's create a sphere, a really simple primitives. Okay, let's rotate using the Alt key the view. Let's go in the perspective, show save frame. Okay, and that will be our render. So now we can go there and we can use, for example, for illumination, an area omni. Let's put it there and let's move it there, and let's change the parameters for the area light, and let's use, for example, something like that, so around 10 centimeters. Now let's go inside the view menu and let's select create camera from view. So we have the camera. Let's go there and let's go in the rendering setup, assign render and mentor ray, and let's set the resolution lower to make some tests. So that's our basic test. Let's use 2 diffuse bounces. That will be our render. Let's go inside the material editor. Okay. Let's give an arc design and let's call it Chrome. Let's assign the shader to the sphere and we can select the basic template Chrome. Okay. Now let's go there for the plane. Let's create another arc design and we can use a basic glossy varnish wood, and let's call it plan wood. Okay, we have our render. Maybe just let's set the blur to 0.1 and let's repeat the texture 4 times using the tiling. Let's render again the simple test, and you see that's our chrome sphere. Now let's go there and we can set maybe an environment. So let's use maybe something like that. Okay, and let's add a skylight and we can use the same color, maybe a little bit brighter, and let's see how it looks. Okay, so that's our sphere. Let's go back there inside the arc and design for the plane, special effects. We have the ambient occlusion, it's right, and let's check the metal. We have no ambient occlusion, but let's use it. Maybe a little bit more, and maybe also a little bit more there, 35 centimeters. Okay, and that's our basic rendering for the moment. And you see that it's really simple, and the Chrome is really shining. So we have full reflection and it seems new, completely new. Okay, let's check. Okay, I created another skylight. Oh, sorry. This one. Let's remove it. Okay, we have our basic shader. Let's make a render with the right quality. So I'm using the medium presets from the Final Gather. And that will be our basic sphere. Okay, now I like to have this sphere new and the second sphere with an aging effects. So let's clone the metal shader and let's call it hold. So Chrome hold. Let's assign to the new sphere and we are ready to start working on the shader. And we have to imagine that when the time is passing, we have less reflection, maybe we have some dirty map all over, and for example the main dirty area will be there, so we can start adding the dirt map. So we can go there in the color and we can select a gradient ramp. Let's set it visible. Let's go there, the full lights. Okay, let's rotate the map 90 degree, minus 90, so we have the darker area there. And we have to choose this color, copy. It's 0.15. So let's go there. And we can use a darker gray there. Copy and the same, sorry, delete. And the same darker gray there. And then we need the black area. Okay, so you see we have darker area there. Let's make a test render. Actually, we have no visibility for these effects because we have the same completely reflecting shader. Okay, let's remove and let's move to the draft quality. Now we can select this one, copy, and we can use this one as a mask for the reflection. Paste copy. Let's see how it will reflect. So you see we have very low reflection actually, and it's not so good, but we can go there and we can change the RGB level. Let's test it, and we have more reflection, but you see we have less reflection than before. Okay, then we can go there and we can start using some glossiness for the reflection. So let's go to 0.5 and let's test it. And it's not so much actually, so we have to go to change the glossy samples. Let's use 16. And you see we started to have some reflection over there, some glossy reflection. Let's go for 0.2. Okay, so you see we have different kind of reflection, but I'd like to change this map and use a noise map so we can see better the effect. So let's go there, discard all map, fractal 1, and let's check how it looks. We have to find the right scale. maybe 5. Let's make just this this area for the rendering. We started to have some darker area all around, so let's remove the glossiness so we can see better the rendering, and let's go for more differences. Let's use 2. Let's render. So you see we have some area where we have no reflection actually. We can make it bigger. Let's test it. Okay, and you see we have less reflection in this area. Obviously we can make it more precise, and let's use 6 for the levels. And we have to use not black but maybe a dark gray so we have less reflection. And we have to change it more. So you see just a little bit less reflection. Let's go there, and let's start again to have less reflectivity, but let's wait for the glossiness. So let's go back to the basic value, and let's use the Fresnel reflection is too much, so we have to go there. Let's see how it looks like that. So I'm trying to have less reflection over there. Okay, so we have more reflection there and less reflection over there. Let's go there, and let's start using a glossiness 0.6. Maybe a little bit more, 0.3. Okay, and we can also start adding some colors over it. Let's set as a composite, and we can do let's keep old map as a map. We can use, for example, noise procedurals to create the rusty over there, but to be faster I use a bitmap, and I go inside the right folder, Autodesk, and maps and metals. Okay, rusty. So that's our texture. Let's use 0.1. Okay, and now we can use a mask, for example a noise, 2 for the sides, turbulence. Let's see how it looks. Okay, let's make it level 6. Let's make it more visible. So you have a good amount of rusty over there. Maybe we can use a bigger area for the rusty. Okay, and let's make it more visible. And more visible. So we have really rusty area over there. It's too much actually. Okay, something like that. And obviously we need less reflection over this area, so let's copy this one. Let's go in the reflectivity and let's make a mask, a mix, sorry, or maybe a composite. Okay, keep all, a new layer, pass copy, and we need to invert this one, so let's go there, invert, let's test it. Okay, we have no reflection over the rusty area, and I'd like to add this map, so let's make it a little bit less visible, so we have a little bit of metallic shading over the rusty and a little bit less. We have for sure to use more levels. Let's go for 8, and same thing there. Let's go for 8, and now I like to copy this one, or maybe we can, okay, make a copy for this one, and we can copy there as a pass a copy, and let's remove this one and let's check it. So we have the ragness over this area. Okay, let's go back, and we have the right reflection. Let's move it there. We need to work on the bump, and to work for the bump we need the same map we used there. So let's copy this one, copy, let's move it there as a copy. Let's use one just to be sure we see the right amount of bump, so you see it's too much, but now we can adjust it. And we can go there, and we have that's wrong. We have to use the other map because we need also the texture, so it's faster to copy this one and go there, paste, and we have to remove for sure one layer. Okay, so let's go there. We need no layer 1, so we need just this layer. So you see we have just the bump over this area, maybe a little bit out of this area. Let's use a black color, RGB tint, discard our map. Let's use black, black, and black. Let's set it to visible, and let's try to render again. Okay, so we have just a bump there. We can make it more visible. You see, we can go at 2. So we have more bump there. And if you'd like, you can add also the displacement. So let's move it there. I'd like to add a new layer. Let's use a black color just to have some dirty area all around the rust. Let's use RGB tint. Okay, let's copy it there and copy it there. Now I'd like to use this one as a copy, and I need it. Let's use a bigger size for the moment. So I need to have less low value. Let's go 2. So we have this one must be over it. So we have this one, the dirty area, and then we have the rusty. Let's try to make a test. Okay, right? So you see we have some little bit dirty area over there. Obviously we can make it bigger just using a low value, and you see it's a little bit dirty over there. Okay, and maybe if we like, we can have over the bump channel, we can use a basic bump map. Maybe let's use a bitmap to be faster. Let's see if we have some kind of metal that can be used. Let's try to use this one, 0.1. Let's check it. Maybe 3 and 3. Okay. Let's check it. It's too much the bump for the first layer, maybe. Or maybe not. Okay, so it's a really fast way to understand how the aging effects can affect a shader. It's not so precise and it's not so realistic also, because we had no control over the rusty presence. We had not so complex layering system, but we can render this scene just to see how it looks. And let's make a render using the right value. Let's go there and let's use Mitchell 4 and 16, and let's use 64 for 400, and let's see how it looks. It will be not so realistic, but it's a good start point to understand the aging effects also over metals and shaders like that. Let's wait for the rendering. Maybe I can stop just a little bit the rendering and the recording, and later we can see it together. So you see, it's really simple, and we have to work over it to make it better, but you had some basic steps to understand how to work on the edging effects over the metals shader. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you again back on Max Cookie to check for new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.